What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing today? Welcome back. We got another top 5 trending Young Guns video, and this one is going to be for the month of May 2024. Now, please keep in mind, while we go over this list, this is not financial advice. Please invest in cards at your own risk. All these graphs will be courtesy of Sport Card Investor in US dollars for PSA 10 Young Guns. As well, I have to record these videos a little bit in advance. At the time of recording, all 8 teams are still alive in the playoffs, so please keep that in mind. Most likely, when you guys will be seeing this, the conference finals will be set, so please keep that in mind for this month. It's unfortunate the timing, but it is what it is. If you guys are brand new to the channel, it would mean a lot to me if you guys would subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. You can change your mind at any time if you don't like what you see. Please subscribe. Really appreciate you all. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below any Young Guns I may have missed in this list. Let me know. Totally possible that your list is different than mine. And yeah, make sure you follow us over on Instagram at @OxfordStar, and let's get this started with number 5. Starting our list off here at number 5 is going to be someone I've talked about before here on the channel that always flies under the radar, is Randon of the Colorado Avalanche. His Young Guns has been trending, and I'm not quite sure why. He's been playing well in the playoffs, but he's not been really the guy in Colorado. Everyone's been looking at Nichushkin. Well, they were looking at Nichushkin before the suspension happened. McKinnon, McCarr kind of had the spotlight, but Randon's Young Guns is trending, and it could continue to trend if they can make it past Dallas, and he'll have a more prominent role in the spotlight with Nichushkin now out of the picture. But yeah, Randon, a superstar in the league. He just doesn't get a ton of hobby love, unfortunately. I'm actually recording this the day after Colorado just forced a Game 6. They just won yesterday in Game 5. Randon's been good, 13 points in 10 playoff games so far. We'll see if he can keep that momentum up, if Colorado can force a Game 7 back in Dallas, if they can continue to go on this playoff run. You guys will know by the time this is out, so that will kind of affect how you treat Randon's cards, I think. As we can see here, looking at his PSA 10 Young Guns graph, we can see about a month ago he's selling for around 81 USD. Now one recently sold for 160 USD. I think this continues to climb as long as he continues to perform and play. Now, if Colorado gets eliminated, I could see this going right back down to 81. Wouldn't be surprised at all. It might not be immediate, but it will happen eventually over the summer. So it really depends how Colorado does in this series for me. Randon, until he's like on his own team and a superstar, he's just going to be in McKinnon, McCarr's shadow, and that's just how hockey cards work. Up next at number 4, and goaltenders often spike during playoffs because people finally start to realize how important they are to the game, and they sometimes steal games, they sometimes steal series. And Silvos for the Vancouver Canucks has been pretty good after being forced in due to the Thatcher Demko and Casey DeSmith injuries, and his Young Guns is trending upwards now. Do I think this is a long-term thing? Not at all. I do not think he is a starter in the NHL going forward after this playoff run. He might be a backup, but even then, he's not going to have a ton of card value. I think this is a strictly selling opportunity if you pulled one out of a Series 2 box or something. And yeah, I am full sell mode on Silvos. As you can see, he hasn't played a single game for the Vancouver Canucks during the regular season, but it has a 908 save percentage, and he's 4-1-1 in this year's playoffs. He had a 907 save percentage in the AHL, but like I said, I think this is a spike because he's their starting goaltender in the playoffs right now. If Vancouver can continue to get past Edmonton and maybe they make the final and somehow Thatcher Demko isn't back and Silvos is still playing, maybe you could hold, but I am full selling Silvos. Take a look at his graph here. A month ago, a PSA 10 Silvos Young Guns sold for $50 US. Now they've tripled in value almost, and they're selling for $140 US. I think that is just way too high for me. I think this is a clear selling opportunity. And who was grading Silvos Young Guns before the playoffs? I know I wasn't. I didn't even know who he was up until the playoffs. And I'm sure a lot of you didn't either. And yeah, I just have not a lot of faith in Silvos' long-term value at all. Now, this is kind of opposite of Silvos. This is a guy I think who could definitely hold value going into next season because he's been playing really well. It's Alexis Lafreniere. He's finally starting to break out of his shell a bit. He looks like the player that the Rangers thought they were getting when they drafted him first overall a couple of years ago. And yeah, he's been one of their best players. Him and Vincent Trocheck. Chris Kreider's been good too. Honestly, the Rangers in general have been pretty good this playoffs. But as long as Carolina doesn't complete the comeback against them, I think this could be an an okay buying opportunity, because even if the Rangers get eliminated before you're able to sell your Lafreniere Young Guns, for example, going into next season, I think there's going to be a lot of people buying Lafreniere, expecting a huge breakout season from him. So I'm kind of on board the Laffy hype train. Let me know what you guys think about Lafreniere down in the comments below. In the playoffs, Alexis Lafreniere has been over a point per game with 10 points in 9 games, and that is way better than he's been in any regular season. The highest total being this season with 57 points over an 82-game span. And yeah, if he can continue to be a point-per-game player in the playoffs, I think his Young Guns will continue to trend upwards. Now, they still have to finish off Carolina. They were up 3-0. Now it's 3-2 at the time of this recording. We'll see if Carolina can complete the historical comeback or if the Rangers can hold on and get a win. We'll have to wait and see for that one. I guess you guys will know by the time you watch this. And yeah, let's take a look at the graph now. Looking at his graph here now, we can see that around a month ago, he was selling for 144 USD. Now it's around 180 USD. Like I said, as long as New York's in the playoffs, as long as he's playing well, I think this trend will continue upwards. Once they get eliminated, I think this could plateau off, even drop down back to 140, maybe even below 140. And then some people will start buying him again in the offseason. Maybe he'll start to trend upwards in the offseason. We'll just have to wait and see for that. Up next at number 2 is another goaltender, and I bet you a lot of you thought I was going to be talking about Jeremy Swayman when I was doing the goalie intros there for Silvos. But yeah, Jeremy Swayman is also on this list. He has been absolutely lights out in the playoffs, especially against Toronto. Against Florida, he has had a little issues, but it's not really his fault. The goals he let in the game, he got pulled. It was kind of the D's fault. But Jeremy Swayman has been spectacular. Absolute breakout playoffs for Jeremy Swayman, and he's kind of established himself as the #1 goalie here in Boston. Take a look at his stats in the playoffs. He's got a .930 save percent so far in the playoffs, and that's absolutely insane. Considering he had like a .950 in the series against Toronto, he's been absolutely lights out. He did have that one not so great game against Florida, but he's bounced back. And if Boston can complete the comeback against Florida, his Young Guns can continue to trend upwards. I don't think they're going to win the cup. Like, I don't think they're deep enough at all. I think they're the worst team left in the playoffs. That's just my opinion, but we'll wait and see how they do against the Panthers. As you can see, he had a low point about a month ago of 66 USD, and lately one sold for 125 USD. Like I said, I think this trend continues as long as they're in the playoffs. Once they're eliminated, things get a little more rocky, but Swayman could be a decent buying opportunity next offseason, but it all depends on if Hallmark stays or goes. All right, so now we're to number 1 on this list, and I want you all to act surprised when I tell you that number 1 on this list is Wyatt Johnston, because of course it's Wyatt Johnston. He's obviously the Conn Smythe favorite right now. He's had an amazing breakout playoff, and last month, if you recall, Wyatt Johnston was on that list, and I said Wyatt Johnston is not the face of this franchise. I think that could hurt his cards from going up. Well, he's the face of the franchise now. He's played out of his mind, and I think Wyatt Johnston is legit, like, people have him over Jason Robertson. People have him over Rupe Hintz. Like, I think he's their guy on forward now. I didn't see that coming. I apologize for that. I thought that Rupe Hintz was a better player than him. I thought that Jason Robertson was a better player than him. I thought their cards would go up before his. I was wrong. Miro Heiskanen, definitely their franchise guy on the blue line, but I think Wyatt Johnston going forward is the guy in Dallas. I've always been a big Wyatt Johnston guy. I've been saying that he's going to be a good player, but I didn't think he'd be this good. Now, he's got 11 points in 11 playoff games, and you might not think that's too spectacular, but the thing everyone's crazy about is the 7 goals. He's in the top 5 in playoff scoring at the time of this recording, and watching him play, he looks like a superstar in the making. He looks like he's going to be a big talent in this league, and, well, honestly, for Wyatt Johnston this specific year, I think Dallas has one of the best chances to go on and win the Stanley Cup, so I wouldn't hate it if you got one for a good deal buying, but just be very cautious, because if Dallas gets eliminated, I think there's a chance his cards take a big dip. But going forward in the next season, even, I think Wyatt Johnston will be a hot commodity. Just keep in mind the Dallas market, that does hurt him quite a bit if they were to get eliminated and you're going to buy one heading in the next season. The Dallas market is not great for hockey cards, but looking at his prices from about a month ago, he was selling for 109 USD. Now one recently sold for 235 USD. That is crazy. We'll see how high this can continue to go as long as Dallas is in the playoffs. I think this trend continues, or maybe it plateaus around the 235 range it's currently at. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, I'm a big Wyatt Johnston guy. So that's going to do it for this month's list. Now, let me know down in the comments below, guys, if I missed anyone. Completely possible my list isn't the right list. Let me know in the comments below who I may have missed. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. It really means a lot to me, guys. Thank you all so much for the support on these videos. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.